Hello guys, and welcome to this hands-on series on Python. In the last video we discussed string as a class in Python. So in this video we'll take the discussion further and look into some of the inbuilt methods in the string class. So a function defined under a class for the objects of the class are essentially known as methods, and the methods that we will discuss in the string class will help you perform some essential operations with strings. So these methods are invoked by the objects belonging to the class using the dot operator. Okay, so you basically specify the object on which you want the method to work, give a dot, and then you call that method, right? So to illustrate this, the first method that we'll discuss is the replace method. Okay, you can use this method to either replace all the instances of a particular character with another character, or you can replace a sequence of characters with another sequence of characters or a particular character. Okay, so to visualize this I define a string object. So let's give it a name string1. Okay, so now I enter my string data, so let it be Bruce Kent. Okay, so if you are a Batman fan, then you may know that this name doesn't sound right. So it should have been Bruce Wayne, but we have entered Bruce Kent. Okay, so I'll correct it using the replace method. Okay, so to call the replace method, so first I'll define my object. So string1 in my case, give the dot and call the replace method. Okay, basically the replace method will work on my string1 object. Okay, now the replace method takes in two arguments. So the first argument will be the sequence of characters that will be replacing, and the second argument will be the sequence of characters that will be replacing with. Okay, so when in this case. Okay, now one thing to note here is that the replace method returns a new string, and it will not work on the existing string. So the existing string will be as it is, and it will just return a new string. Okay, so to store that new string I define a new object. So let us name it string2. Okay, so the new string will be stored in string2. Okay, to visualize this I use the print function. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so as you can see, Bruce Wayne is displayed on the screen, right? So Bruce Kent is replaced by Bruce Wayne. Okay, basically Kent is replaced by Wayne, and this is how the replace method works. So this is how you can replace a sequence of characters with another sequence of characters, but you can also replace all the instances of a particular character. So for example, if I want to replace all the letter E in my string with letter A, so we'll see how this is done. So I define a new object. This is string2. The string1 will be the object that will be calling my replace method. So give the braces, specify the first argument. This is E, so I want to replace the letter E with the letter A, right? So okay, okay. So as you can see, all the letter E in my string have been replaced with the letter A. Okay, so all the instances of the letter E. So here this is E, and this is another E. So this is replaced by the letter A. Okay, so this is basically how the replace method works. Okay, alright, so the next method that we're going to discuss is the strip method. So this method is used to remove characters from both ends of a string. So that means either at the beginning or at the end. Alright, by default if you don't pass any argument to this method, then it will remove the spaces from the both ends. And if you pass any character or a group of characters, then those characters will be removed at the both ends, right? So to illustrate this, I'm going to define a new string object. So let us give it the name string4, and I'm going to specify a new string over here. So let the string be ibophobia. So ibophobia is basically means the fear of palindromes. So palindrome is a sequence of characters which read the same from both the directions. So as you can see, ibophobia is itself a palindrome. If you spell it from the forward direction, then it is ibophobia, and if you spell it backward, then it is also ibophobia. Okay, so I have specifically chosen this word to illustrate the strip method, right? So for that, I'm going to define a new object, let it be string5, and now I'm going to call this strip method on string4, right? And in this method I'm going to pass the arguments, which is the group of characters that I'm going to remove. So b, I, n, a. Okay, so the strip method will remove the characters b, I, and a, right? So these characters will be removed at the end and also at the beginning. Okay, so the order in which you specify these characters, that is irrelevant. So anyway, these characters will be removed. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so as you can see, the middle portion, that is uh, this part, is displayed, and the three characters a, I, and b, they are removed from the beginning and also at the end, right? So the order in which you specify these group of characters, that doesn't matter. So the strip method will remove all the characters that you specify as argument in the method, right? Now, if you want to remove characters only at the left end or at the right end, instead of removing them from the both ends at the same time, then you can use the L strip and the R strip methods respectively. Okay. So if you want to remove some characters at the left end, then you can use the L strip method, and similarly you can use R strip if you want to remove characters at the right end. Okay. So for this particular case, if I replace this strip method with R strip method, then you can see that these three characters at the right end are removed. Alright, so now if you use the L strip method, then you can see that these three characters are removed from the left end. Okay, so basically they are the same thing, just you can specifically remove characters at a particular end using these two methods. Okay, the final method that we'll discuss for the string class is the format method. We use the format method whenever we want to insert some variables into our string data that changes repeatedly, and for that we don't necessarily want to change the entire string, but just insert these changing variables into the string before it gets displayed. Okay, the format method does this by inserting these values into the string using placeholders defined by the user, and we define these placeholders by using curly braces. Okay, for example, suppose we want to display a statement that shows the current time of the system, then in that case the portion of the string that shows the time needs to be changed, while the other portion that gives us the information that the system is printing the time value, that portion needs to be retained. Okay, so for that particular purpose we use the format method, right? So here I have defined a string object. The name is string6, and in this particular object I am storing my string template that displays the time. Okay, so it displays the time in this particular format. Okay, so as you can see, the first portion is the information portion part, and the second portion is the time itself, right? So here I have defined three placeholders, right? So first placeholder is for the hour value, second is for the minute value, and third is for whether it is AM or PM, that means which half of the day it is. Okay, so next I have defined three variables, one for the hour, second for the minute, and third for the half of the day, right? So before printing the time, I need to replace these placeholders using these three variables. So I pass these three variables inside the format method, and the format method will replace the placeholders in the order in which I have passed the variables as argument. Okay, so here in this case, so the first placeholder will be replaced by the hour value, second will be replaced by the minute value, and so on. Okay, so let's execute this. So as you can see, it gives us the time, okay, in the required format, right? Now if you want to display a new time, then in that case you just change these variables. For example, if I changed this by 55, then in that case this gives us the new time as 11:55 p.m. Okay, so that's the advantage of using the format method. It just changes that particular value and retains the other portion of the string. Okay, so that's all for this particular video. We'll continue in the next one. So goodbye.